Hi, welcome to my channel. I am doing a little bit of a different video today. I'm actually doing a series of videos on a couple of my medical issues because I've been getting a few messages about it and some questions from even family because I don't really talk about it very much. This one will be about my main issue, which is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, otherwise known as EDS. And I do have my little facts with me because as many of you who have EDS know, if you have EDS, you typically will have two other diseases, POTS syndrome and fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia can cause a lot of memory issues, so I have a very hard time remembering all of this. So I do have paper here to make sure I firstly pronounce things in a semi-correct way, and second off to make sure I'm getting all the information in that I want to get in. So, on that note, let's get started. EDS, otherwise known as Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, is a connective tissue disorder that affects every patient differently, depending on the type that you have and the severity of the type that you have. Also, just the person in general, it can affect you a lot differently. This disorder was not distinguished as a legitimate issue until 1901 by Edvard Ehlers and Henry Ehlers-Danlos in 1908 theorized that the cardinal features of the disorder was the elastic and fragile manner of those affected skin. And in 1960, a solid genetic makeup was established. Little progress has been made in curing this issue, though efforts are being very exhausted. Common enough. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome is an inherited disease. You will get it from one of your parents or both if you're very, very unlucky. This says, at this time, research statistics of EDS show that the total prevalence as 1 in 2,500 to 1 in 5,000 people, affecting both male and females with any racial or ethnic background. It is classified as a rarity, but they do believe that it is more common than that because a lot of people don't get diagnosed because it's not a very well-known issue. So they do believe that there's a greater number than that, but that's just the people that we have so far. Ehlers-Danlos Society said in a quote, "The two known inheritance patterns for Ehlers-Danlos syndrome includes autosomal dominant and autosomal recessive. Regardless of the inheritance pattern, we have no choice in which genes we pass on to our children." Which sucks. That sucks a lot. I've actually, when dealing with the idea of having children, I've been having a really difficult time because if you have something that does limit you so much and it makes you restricted in such a way, it's hard to imagine willingly having a kid, and it feels like you're kind of condemning them to that if they do end up inheriting it, which, I mean, is out of your control, but I'm having a really difficult time with it, and I'm really struggling with it. If you believe that your family member is suffering from EDS or is affected by EDS, you can contact any doctor capable of diagnosing any disease, but you will probably be recommended to a geneticist because of the complexity of the issue. But don't get scared by that. It's just that's how it goes. Well, you'll begin with the diagnosis. You'll begin with the physical examination, and that is the Beighton scale. The Beighton scale is a 9-point system that basically tests your flexibility or your joint laxity or elasticity, and just basically your overall joint movement. I scored I was 7 when I got tested. I scored a 9 out of 9, which usually 7-year-olds will score a 4 or 6 on the scale, so they knew that I had extensive movement in my joints to the point well past a 7-year-old, and that's how they knew to kind of start looking in the way of EDS, because that's just, it's not normal. After the bite and scale, they will then assess your skin for any abnormal scars or bruises or just anything like that. I scar very easily. I actually have cuts that were like paper cuts that turned into scars. I have scars from paper cuts. It's very sad. And you scar so fast. And they're very thin, they're paper-like. They look like burn victims. So that's not fun. Don't like to show my knee in public anymore after all my knee surgeries because she is rough. But they'll also stretch it because you'll have very stretchy skin. I don't like to do it because it grosses me out, but like, it's pretty stretchy. I don't like to do it. It gives me the oogies. But then once you have all your results from the physical test and the skin test, then they will kind of make a general assessment of which subtype they think you have, which at the current moment there's 13 subtypes. And they'll try to fit your scores into one of the subtypes, and then they will be able to then do genetic testing to see if they were correct in their assumption of the subtype. So something that really freaked me out when I found out I had EDS, because I was only 7, I was really scared about what that would mean for my life. Like, would I not live as long? Would I die young? Would I die terribly? It was just, I was very much a worrywart too, so it was just a very surreal experience of, I'm now in this, now what does this mean for me? Well, Ehlers-Danlos Society, EDS Society, has stated that the prognosis depends on the type of EDS syndrome that the individual has. Life expectancy can be shortened for those with vascular Ehlers-Danlos syndrome due to the possibility of organ and vessel rupture. Now, I don't have vascular, I have type 3. But that being said, my doctor checks me regularly, checks my heart valves. I get ultrasounds on my heart. He checks me, I think it was every 8 weeks. I think we just extended that though because I was doing really well. To make sure that my valve isn't getting loose and that it doesn't shift over into vascular, because apparently, on top of all our other issues, that's one. But yeah, life expectancy is usually not affected in any of the other types. So EDS is very unique, and there is no cure, but there is treatment for your symptoms. They have medications now and preventative measures that are helpful for a lot of people. Okay, time to get into symptoms. Symptoms that are affecting most people with EDS are joint hypermobility, which affects both the large joints, which are elbows and knees, and it also affects the small joints, like your fingers and your toes. Now, I have these finger splints that I wear off and on, depending on my need. Frequent joint dislocations and subluxations, which a sublux is when, so I have a lot of these in my knee, it's when it partially dislocates, so it's not fully gone yet. You have a lot of those, oftenly affecting the shoulder, kneecap, and or temporomandibular joint, the joint that connects the lower jaw to the skull. Don't know if I pronounced that right. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I'm also dyslexic, and I have a hard time reading these. Soft, smooth skin that may be slightly elastic or stretchy and bruises very easily. I actually had a really funny moment. I did plays at my school because I couldn't do sports, and I was in Greece and we did the hand jive, and I had these massive bruises on my leg from hand jiving. It was the saddest thing I've ever been a part of. It was hilarious though. I couldn't wear shorts for months. It was so bad. Don't do that. Okay, so early onset osteoarthritis. I do have arthritis in every joint, so that is common for EDS. Chronic multiskeletal muscle and bone pain. So just chronic pain in general, not a good sitch. Osteoporosis, also common. Gastrointestinal issues such as dysmotony, bloating, nausea, vomiting, heartburn, constipation, and hiatal hernia and reflux. I have a lot of stomach issues. I typically will get sick after every meal. It's terrible. They do have medication for you if you do have these issues, but I have run into the issue of the medicine also makes me sick. So, currently working on that in my situation. Cardiovascular abnormalities such as mitral valve prolapse or aortic root dilatation, which is enlargement of the blood vessels that distributes blood from the heart to the rest of the body. I'm so sorry, that pronunciation is so badly butchered. Increased risk of pelvic prolapse, painful menstruation, and painful intercourse in women. And then finally, an increased risk of pregnancy complications such as premature rupture of membranes or rapid labor and delivery, meaning less than 4 hours. So that's all that I have at the moment for this video. I'm sorry if I got any information wrong. I definitely pronounced things wrong, but I really just wanted to make this video because I know when I first got diagnosed, I was really struggling, and I tried to. YouTube wasn't really like a big thing at that point where I lived, and so when I went on there wasn't really anything talking about this, and it is such a crippling issue for so many people, and I feel like it really does deserve recognition, and I don't ever talk about it. I never talk about it. I was so anxious to make this video because it's so stressful, and like anybody outside of my close circle doesn't know anything about it. Even people in my close circle, they'll just come up to me and talk to me and be like, oh, what is that? And I realize I've never explained it to them. Like, it's very much something I avoid. But I'm done doing that. It's not something I have, it is me. It's not something that is affecting me. It's something I was born with. It's been with me my entire life. And I just kind of needed to get over it. And just accept that this is my life, and it might suck and sometimes, and I might not be able to do everything I want to do, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. And it's gonna be hard, and it's gonna get worse, but I'm gonna try it. So if you have any more questions about EDS, you can leave them in the comments, and I will try to get back to you and let you know and answer as soon as I can find it, or as soon as I see your comment. But yeah, that's all I have for today. I will be posting my next 3 videos in this series shortly. So yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, or if you would like another video maybe talking about some helpful tips I've had with my EDS or anything like that, and I would be very happy. So on that note,